Jake's brother is probably the most mysterious character in Lookism. I mean, just who is this guy? The first affiliate started a couple months ago, and ever since it began, we've been getting more and more hints on who Jake's brother is and whether or not he's going to be showing up soon. So let's look at his feats so far and maybe some theories on what he can or can't do. So one of Jake's main feats, which is actually the means he was introduced into the story through, is being Gapyeong's son. Not just his son though, his strongest son. It was stated that if Gapyeong's good side and bad side had split up into two people, this guy would have been Gapyeong's bad side. So off rip, we immediately know that this guy is just a walking testosterone machine. That's not all we know about him though. After this, he wasn't really mentioned for a while, until the holidays arc, when Daniel Park encountered who was said to be the strongest first generation king, Ji Chang. In his fight with Ji Chang, Daniel Park attempted to imitate some of James Lee's attacks. And this worked for a little bit, but I mean, all it really did was send Ji Chang into a flashback. A painful one, that is. Ji Chang had a flashback of his fight with James Lee, the one-man circle, when that man was on a mission of dog-walking the entire first generation. After their fight, James Lee addressed Ji Chang as the former king of Seoul. The reason he wasn't still the king of Seoul was because he was banished to Chongchong by some mysterious man, and this man was more suited to be the king of Seoul, by the words of James Lee. It was the man with the legendary blood flowing through his veins, Jake's brother. But still, what does this tell us about how strong he is? He beat Ji Chang, sure, but that's pretty expected of Gapyeong's son. After being the king of Seoul for we don't know how long, it appears that Jake Kim's brother ended up going to Mexico, and he hasn't come back since. However, the first affiliate has taken a different turn. Ever since Chon Tae-jin beat Vinjin, the hints about Jake's brother have been drastically increasing. Chon Tae-jin mentioned that Jake Kim looks very much like his brother, and he also said there's no way he'd be here already. Almost like the reason he left Mexico in the first place was just to get something small done, and maybe his goal was to come back to Korea all along, not to stay in Mexico. Chon Tae-jin shares the same goal as Jake because of his brother, so I guess they're trying to take down the workers. It doesn't end there though, because the next chapter, Jake's brother is mentioned again. This time, however, his mentioning almost caused an earthquake. Gang Soap, in his talk with Zack, mentioned the legendary bloodline of Gapyeong Kim, and throughout this, he stated that there is simply no way the former king of Seoul, aka Jake's brother, would be weaker than the likes of James Lee. And Gang Soap is a man who fought James Lee himself, so if anyone would know whether Jake's brother is James Lee level or not, it's him. However, this flashback isn't done yet. A lot of people took this as the most valuable piece of information that Gang Soap gave us in this flashback, and it might be, but don't make the mistake of skipping through this, because we have more evidence about what I said earlier when Chon Tae-jin beat Vinjin. So Gang Soap says, and I quote, "He has temporarily left his seat, but he is Seoul's former king. Temporarily. What the fuck? Meaning he's coming back, right? Right? That was the last that was ever mentioned of the King of Seoul until today. We saw something which makes absolutely zero sense when it comes to the plot, but in Daniel Park's battle with Daniel Park was shown to be copying Jake's brother's fighting style. I mean, he's never seen this man, he's never even heard of him, so how the hell is he copying these attacks exactly? And he was beating Daniel's ass with them too. So I saw a theory on Reddit on how this would ever be even comically plausible, and it said that Jake's brother was potentially the old owner of Daniel's second body. And maybe this is like some muscle memory in UI or something. And you might think, hell nah, that's never true. And it probably isn't. But do you have a better explanation? Because I think it's time for one right about now. It's still not over though. Yeah, this motherfucker killed his dad. Let me explain. So, Jin Young and Jake finally meet after a couple decades of not seeing each other, and Jin Young isn't exactly in the right state of mind. However, regardless of that, when Jin Young first sees Jake, he immediately throws out the claim that this guy killed his own dad. Now, there's two possibilities that I can think of off the top of my head when looking at this panel. Either Jin Young is really insane, and everyone he sees that remotely is associated with Gapyeong, such as Tom Lee and Jake Kim, he thinks Gapyeong was killed by every one of them because he's under some crazy state. Or, Jin Young is apparently seeing Jake's brother instead of Jake, and there's a whole lot of lore behind this. Jake's brother inherited Gapyeong's evil side, but that doesn't have to mean he ever liked him, does it? He might have plotted something absolutely devious with Tom Lee, and they both worked together with probably someone else like James Lee to, you know, get rid of Gapyeong Kim. A cool theory I'd like to throw out there before I end this video off is, you know how there's still 3 of the 10 geniuses out there that haven't been revealed yet, right? Yeah, so what if Jake's brother was secretly one of them this whole time? We do know that Elite was an accomplice in destroying the evidence of Gapyeong's death, so if Jake's brother was the one that killed him, that might mean that him and Elite are in good terms for Elite to be backing him up like that. I mean, I don't really know, but I just really want to see a whole 10 geniuses lore arc. That would be super cool in my opinion, and maybe a reveal of who the last 3 are. But most importantly, when the fuck is this dude gonna show up? So I don't really know where to place this guy strength wise, just to make sure that in the future I do get debunked so I can get more comments on this video. Jake's brother is stronger than James Lee. Now just imagine I'm right. What are you gonna say then?